Hi, my name is Ashid Jude, and I'm going to be teaching you today or making a presentation today on the AI knowledge assistant for teachers. So you'll be used to the ChatGPT, large language models, and all that. So it applies to all industries, applies to all careers. But the truth is that every industry have their specialty on the usage of large language models or AI assistant or knowledge assistant. And it's important to understand that every professional will need it for certain aspect of their jobs. Might not be all aspect of their jobs, but it's going to be a certain aspect. So I'll be focusing on educators, teachers, classroom teachers, and those in schools, right? Especially in the academics. And it's important to understand that this tool has been debated over around the world. Some say it's good, some say it's bad, some say it's going to make teachers lazy, some say it's going to increase plagiarism among students. So you have different ideologies about the tool. But I'm going to be using it as a knowledge assistant for teachers, and that brings up this presentation. So we're going to be using two sessions. We're going to be looking at definitions and introduction to what it means and what it's all about, and then we look at prompting and how you can generate good prompts with the language model. Okay, so quickly I'll be going to go through my slides. Mind you, this is PowerPoint Cameo. I'm just testing it to see how I can actually use it to create your courses, right? Calculate your course upright from PowerPoint using the Cameo because of the camera features and also subtitling that makes it very, very intuitive for online course creators. So quickly, the objective of this lesson, we're going to be looking at introduction to GPT's generative pre-trained transformers as GPT. Looking at definition. It's the GPT as a classroom assistant and principles of GPT prompts. Because it's important as a teacher, you know how to get the results you want from the GPTs, then examples of GPT. So these are the 4 salient points and 4 salient usages we're going to be looking at. There are other usages, but I want to use this as a short form of introduction course to GPTs for teachers and educators. Now, section 1, introduction to GPTs. Good. So we're going to be looking at GPTs as a digital knowledge mining tool. What do you mean by digital knowledge mining? It means the internet is a source of majority of information we have around the world, right? Like a pool of information we have around the world. Now, you need a tool to actually mine those knowledge. We've used search engines in the past. We've used web crawlers in the past, but now we have GPTs. These are artificial intelligence programs that help you mine specific data or customize your data you have mined to your taste. And it's important as teachers to know that these tools are not just plain tools. They are actually knowledge mining tools, right? Like a miner, you need your tools, your shovel, your digger, your tractor, whatever you need to mine. Now, this is a tool to mine knowledge for you as a teacher. So I call it a knowledge mining tool. So first and foremost, we're going to look at artificial intelligence as it plays a role in digital knowledge mining, right? For efficient information-based professional documentation and also automation of textual stacks for effective teaching and learning workflow. What does that mean? It simply means your teaching and learning workflow or tasks or assignments can be made easy and more productive with these two artificial intelligence knowledge mining processes. And next, we're going to be looking at chatbots, right? What is a chatbot? It's just a software. We use to chatbots for digital marketers or those creating, tying it to apps like WhatsApp. Wow, that was loud. Tying it to apps like WhatsApp, right? Tying to apps like WhatsApp for interacting with their customers. Now, so a chatbot is simply a software that simulates a human-like conversation. The way you chat with people on WhatsApp, a chatbot allows you to do that. But now you're not chatting with humans, you are chatting with the information that have been collated on the internet. So that's the difference. You're chatting with internet repository or archive of the internet. So that is what chatbot looks like with artificial intelligence. So it looks like conversation with users being activated by prompts. So how do you get the chatbot to converse with you? Now you use prompts. These are short messages. These are short interrogations. These are short English language text that you type, and it gives you responses. And you can combine several texts to make maybe sentences or to make short phrases to actually interrogate and get good responses from this chatbot. Now, so interrogation or query like chats respond to by the chatbot. So examples you have what? ChatGPT, you have ChatSonic, you have Google Bard, you have Forefront, you have UChat, etc. For images, you also have Adobe Firefly and Midjourney. So these are all interrogative programs that allow you to get information either in images or text. We will have for videos, we will have for effects and from different purposes, but we'll be focusing on just text and images. So chatbots, classroom teachers, AI assistant. Now we're used to teachers getting assistants, right? This is common in schools. You go to school, say teacher and a teacher's assistant. Somebody, same qualification or similar qualification as a teacher, but assist the teacher in all that time because some of the top courses or some of the classrooms need more than one teacher to assist. So now we are used to human teachers. We're used to human being our assistants and teachers, right? Now, what if you have a knowledge assistant or an AI assistant? It's not replacing your assistant teacher, but it's actually helping you with quick information or quick delivery of efficient tasks that you can employ in your classroom and make it easier for you to relate with your student and even make your students' learning experiences improved. So GPT chatbots won't replace teachers, right? Or classroom assistants. It's if they use the AI to effectively in their classroom, giving them super advantage over teachers who don't use. So teachers who don't use it are going to be replaced by teachers who use it because it's good. The level of efficiency is going to really be between night and day, right? Because you're going to be dealing with teachers who need information and who want their class to be effective and they're getting it at the speed of light. And you want to be there as a teacher, don't want to use it and you're cracking your brain or racking your head on how to improve your classroom practices. Now we would explore practical case study scenarios where chatbot offers effective strategies as classroom assistant for knowledge mining. So we're going to be using that as our kickstart and also a way of starting the usage of prompts. Now, some usage of chatbot as teacher AI assistant include assessment. You can use it for assessment, for rubric creation, for differentiation of instruction, and also analytics of your students' results, right, on your teacher learning processes. Other areas include stories for school drama, presentation, classroom activities, we are used to situations where you get barring of classroom activity for specific purposes in your class. You want to teach a topic, you want to teach a subject, and you don't know what would be the best classroom activity to actually kickstart or make that lesson very memorable and experiential for your students. So now you have a chatbot or an assistant that can give you ideas, that can give you suggestions that makes it easier, which is far, 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 far more than what you can even ask from just normal human beings. So we have what other usage of formal communication and agenda and tasks. You have meeting, you have staff meeting, PTA meeting, and you want an agenda, you want some form of direction on what will happen during those meetings. And this AI teacher assistant can very beneficial. So let's look at other areas we can use this pre-trained transformer. So like I told you, GPT simply means generative pre-trained transformer, So it appears in different platforms. It can be on WhatsApp, it can be on Telegram, it can actually be a website, it can be also an app, Android app or your Apple app. But we're going to be looking at it from the website perspective and also from usage of WhatsApp, because people use WhatsApp almost every day. So we'll look at options you have for WhatsApp. We have the Open Assistant, the Open AI Chat GPT assistant. Chat GPT is popular, so there's the we have that Forefront, Chats.forefront. We got Google Bard. That's the newest experimental option by Google, and it's quite intuitive, and that's what we'll be using throughout this presentation. And we have the DALL-E image generator, right? Labs.openai. So ChatGPT and DALL-E have similar, they are from the same company. And we have Adobe Firefly, which we're going to be using specifically for this presentation. Now, the WhatsApp options includes what's.gpt.ai. We have mobile-gpt.io. We have AskGenie.ai. We have userroger.com, and we have bodygpt.ai. So these are the WhatsApp options. Mind you, some of them are free, some of them you pay for, but the easiest one to actually use is the one on Telegram. It's GPT-3 and it's free. So you just search that out on the Telegram chat bots and Chat GPT 3.5, and it's going to be available to you on Telegram. So the WhatsApp one, some of them have the free trial, some of them have limited features on the free trial to pay handsomely for the premium versions. Now, we're going to be looking at section 2, principles of GPT prompts. Okay, principles of GPT prompts. That's the section 2 of this presentation. Good. How teachers mine knowledge from GPTs, right? The art and principle of prompting GPTs. How do you prompt it? How do you interrogate it? How do you ask questions and get a good response rather than allowing it just hallucinate or give you answers that might not be useful or too useful for you? So let's look at the definition. Prompting is simply digital knowledge mining strategies to interrogate chatbots in order to get personalized responses. So these are strategies. The way you interrogate human beings to get answers from them, the same way you interrogate these chatbots to get relevant and useful and efficient answers and results and output from them. Prompting is now a professional art. Mind you, prompting is now a career path for some people. Prompting is now, you have prompting engineer, prompting coaches and all that. So Prompting is now a professional art any teacher using GPTS should get used to in order to enjoy the digital knowledge responses from their chatbot. So if you want to enjoy the responses from your chatbot, it's important that you understand prompting. Prompting will make your life easy. Prompting is not a difficult skill. It's just an extra skill you need to add to your repository or to your skill set as a teacher to make it possible for you to get good results from your AI teaching or teacher's AI assistant. So knowledge mining principle involve interrogating chatbot with chat prompts. Simple. Just short text, short messages, or short phrases to get good responses. So chatbot prompt for language classes. So let's look at examples of that. Before we look at that, we kind of define what hallucination is. Most of these chatbots, they hallucinate. The way human beings hallucinate, to start talking or start giving you information out of the blue. You are asking a question and it's giving you something. So that's where it actually shows that you, the humans, still have control over them, and you should be in charge of these chatbots responses and filter the messages or filter whatever responses they give to you, because it's important. If you don't filter it, you're going to get garbage in, garbage out. So hallucination is just a definition that was coined out when certain prompts you type into your chatbot and automatically is giving you a different answer that is out of point, out of context. So that is hallucinating. It happens once in a while, not always, but it happens once in a while. So you just always need to scrutinize the responses from your teaching assistant or these AI tools or the GPTs. So always make sure, right, you don't type in complicated prompts, because sometimes that might be the result of hallucination. Typing in complicated prompts that have too many dynamics or too many results at the same time, that even as a human being, you need to break it down to actually digest it. So don't just think these tools are superhumans or they're super beings that you just question. So the way you need simple, straightforward interrogations as human being, the same way you interrogate your chat bot. So we're going to be looking at creating case studies, comprehension passages for specific students' skill sets. So you can use it when you're prompting. You can actually use it to what? For comprehension passages for specific students or purposes. Students with special needs, students with learning difficulty, can actually tailor your prompts to get results that can help you as a teacher, help your students too. For AI language skills platform, check out. So we look at language, look at GPTtionary, look at Sophie.io. So these are language prompts, or these are language platforms that enable you to learn languages with the GPTs or the large language models platforms. So let's look at this example prompt. Can you generate, this is a prompt, and I'm going to show you how you can type it into the GPTs and get results. So we're going to be looking at this example prompt. Can you generate a straightforward reading comprehension passage from scratch? Tailor it for grade, that's the grade student you're teaching, with focus on what are you focusing on in your comprehension passage? Part of speech, focus on what part of speech, and figure of speech if you're interested in adding that to the comprehension passage. Then the entire passage should be African-based stories. So we're going to be looking at ways to customize it to suit your students or your environment, because we're used to foreign scenarios of comprehension which does not apply to us. But now with this AI assistant, you can tailor it to even suit students you're teaching in a specific village or in a specific environment, or environments that are peculiar to certain kind of students, because you can be speaking robotics in some areas in Nigeria or in some schools in Nigeria, some remote areas in Nigeria, because they don't even understand what it is. So you look for things that are peculiar to the environment and you prompt and get results, so that when your students read the information, they're able to relate and be efficiently giving you good responses as you expect them to. So quickly, we'll go to good. Okay. So I'll be using Google Bard. It's Google Bard, right? Just minimize it. Okay. So Google Bard is simply, you can see the charts area. So it's under experimentation, and it's important that you use it as much as possible to understand how it works. So quickly, okay. So quickly, I'm going to be using the prompt here. Okay. I'll be using the prompt here. I just copy it, right? Copy and paste here, and just made modification. I've tested this prompt and it's working perfectly. So create and generate a straightforward, look at it here. Create and generate a straightforward comparison passages from scratch, tailor it for grades. So let's say grade 5, right? With focus on verbs, part of speech, and figure of speech, maybe metaphor. Metaphors. You can use more than one figure of speech, more than one part of speech. So I'm just, this is an example. The entire passage should be African-based story. So this is all you just need to type and click submit. Good. So you can see it's created the story, the lion and the giraffe. So once upon a time, there was a lion. So gives you everything you need. And in the passage, you have verbs that describe the action. So these are the verbs in the story, and the part of speech, metaphors. So comparison between the two. This actually makes it possible for you as a teacher to customize your lessons and make it interesting and more robust for your students to work with. So that's it for language prompt. Simple. You just type in, you can see the elements in this prompt are straightforward, but very specific for the comprehension passage. So you can start prompting and asking, okay, from that, teach math, teach science. It's going to work, but you're going to be getting haphazard responses. So try to be very specific when you're designing your prompts. It makes it easier for you as a teacher. Okay, let's look at chatbot prompts for student assessment and analytics. So chatbot AI assistants can provide customized questions from text-based lesson notes. So if you have a lesson note, you have a topic you have been teaching, and you want to assess your students on that topic. Sometimes it could be difficult to just generate certain number of quantity of questions from your student. So what you simply do is use the ChatGPT to generate it, and you screen it to make sure that it's what your students want or what the level of your students. So use prompts with similar context. Advanced ChatGPTs like ChatGPT-4 can create graph analytics, analyze student data and make recommendations. These are advances. So ChatGPT-4 is actually paid for. The free one is still ChatGPT 3, right? If you want to use ChatGPT 4, you can use the Bing version of Microsoft Bing or Edge version of ChatGPT. I think it's being tailored with ChatGPT 4. So let's look at example prompts from for assessment. Use the lesson notes, right? This is perfect. It works for me so much. So this is an example prompt. I'll copy it and let's see how I can use it immediately. Okay. So this is an example prompt, right? Use the lesson notes, create numbers, what kind of number of multiple choice questions with only one option, one or two options, depending on how you want to assess your student. 4 grade number, what grade? Include the answer for each question. So this is how you can create question banks as a teacher. Question banks you can create. Use this as a way of creating question banks for your student, to assess your student, for exercises, for homeworks, for formative assessment, summative assessment, whatever you're doing to make sure your students understand, or to check if your students understand what you have taught them. So include the answer for each question. It should not be more than one answer for each question. Paste notes. So this is an example prompt. What we simply do, go to Google Bard again, and see what, and use it. Okay. Let me use let's say the story, the comprehension passage is the note, right? Let's say the comprehension passage is the note. Let's say the comprehension passage is the note. So I'll generate the comprehension passage. Okay. So I'll just generate it. I should have copied it earlier. I'll generate it again. Focus on verb and metaphor. I'll use the normal and metaphor. Okay. All right. Good. So we'll now use it to generate assessment, to understand if the students understand the story, and with multiple choice questions. So let's paste in the assessment. We'll just copy again. Okay, so prompt. So let's say use the story lesson notes. Create maybe 5 multiple choice questions, and with one option, with 3 or 4 options, A, B, C, D. Option A, option B. For grade, remember, the same story, you can tweak it to different grades, right? So let's maintain the grade 5. Include answers for each question. It should not be more than one answer per question. Now, if you're using this prompt as your lesson note assessment generator, right? You want to generate assessment for your students, OBJ, short answers, true or false, and all that. All you just need to do is paste in the lesson notes here, right? Paste in the lesson notes there. You just paste it in. Let's use that as an example. Let's use the story as an example. We'll just copy the lion and the giraffe story and paste it. So right click and we'll paste it. So once you paste your lesson notes, the text-based lesson note, right? The text aspect of your lesson note. Once you paste it, I click, and let's see what it generates. Okay, so you can see quickly it has generated question and answers, multiple choice question and answer for your student. Easy peasy. All you need to do now, you might ask, how do you get it? You might copy it like this, but it's better you just copy it, export it as what? Google Docs. So once you export it, you can also export it as a Gmail option. So once you export it as Google Docs, automatically takes you online, and you can download it as Microsoft Word and make any adjustment and print it for your student as their assessment, or even as their test, or even as their exam question. Right? So that's quickly, let me copy the last prompt so that I can use it. I can use it later on. I'll just copy it so that I can use it later on. Okay, I use this also later on. So that's it if you want to create assessment for your students using the prompt on Google. But it works with ChatGPT. So if you are a teacher that's already used to ChatGPT, keep on, it's the same thing, or the same similar response you're going to get. It might be the same, it might be different, mostly going to be different, but the same framework, you're going to be getting the same accuracy you're going to be getting, right? So that is using the chatbot prompts or GPT prompts for assessment. I didn't show you how to log in. It's simple. You just go to bad.google.com and it's going to allow you sign up, and you can use it on your Gmail. So quickly, prompts for students analysis. This is the part 2 of it. I might not create a new prompt, but we're going to be looking at create a performance task for these analytics, right? Create a performance task for grade level students to demonstrate their mastery of subject topic. The task should require students to apply specific concepts and skills and should be aligned with relevant standards. So this prompt is so powerful that it enables a teacher assess details of a student's learning from the learning standards, inclusive, and also the concept. If you want them to learn certain core skills, mind you, I didn't bring it in. We are already used to Bloom's taxonomy, right? We're already used to 21st century core skills, right? We teach our students. So do not deviate from it. Make sure you emphasize it when you're using this prompt. You want to create a lesson note or a lesson plan, and you want the GPT to help you focus on certain 21st century, maybe problem solving, maybe communication, maybe critical thinking, what have you. So you could add it as a way of tracking every lesson you deliver in classroom. You're going to be teaching particular skills, is going to help you with it and tailor it, and you can actually assess students with using these core skills with this prompt here. So create a performance prompt. So it's a performance task prompt for grade level and all that. So remember to replace. One thing you should know, always remember to replace the placeholder. For example, this is a placeholder, right? So don't just leave it like that. This is where it becomes personalized for you as a teacher to help your student. Here, personalize. Where you have number, you put number. Where you have grade, you put grade level. Where you have subject, you put topic with specific details relevant to your context. These templates can also be customized to fit your needs and ensure that the AI provides accurate, useful information for your educational needs or purposes. Like I told you, the way you prompt it is going to be the way it responds. Now, one thing you should note that there's what we call framing effects, right? The framing effect is actually happens if you are prompting it with telling it, for example, the negative effects of something. It's not going to give you a result of positive effects, right? Or you ask it for positive effects and giving you the negative option, right? So your perspective during prompting matters a lot, your perspective. So if you're prompting with a negative perspective, it's going to respond negatively or give you negative results, not bad results. It's going to be tailored on a negative perspective, right? So if you ask it on a positive perspective, it's going to give you the result of positive aspects. So try as much as possible, except that is your thing you want it to give you merits or demerits or cons or pros, then fine. Try as much as possible to be a bit neutral so that it gives you something that is not too extreme or it gives you responses that are not extreme. Then you start trying to dig through your way through it, right? So that's the framing effect. So quickly, data-driven insights. So chatbots are used to collect what? Chatbots are used to collect, okay. Chatbots are used to collect, analyze data on students' performance and engagement, which informs instructional decisions and improve learning outcomes. And also by leveraging data insights, schools can optimize teaching strategies and personalize their learning experiences. So it's important how you use this tool or how you're going to be using your chatbot. It's important that you also use it to derive insights by giving it specific data that concerns your situation. For example, you are teaching 30 students, and you want activity for 30 students, then you can be specific to get that same result for activities that work with 30 students. So don't just put the prompt there, I want to teach this topic, and you didn't put the number of students you're teaching, because that will inform its decisions too, to know that, the activity provided will work for so number or this number of students. That is important. Be as specific as possible. And the good thing about it is every class is unique, right? So teachers are teaching 150 students, so you will not get the same kind of activities for teachers who are teaching 20 or 30 students. So be as specific as possible. So chatbot to create rubric. In your teaching, sometimes it's difficult for teachers to create rubric because they don't even know how to design the rubric. But now it's now made easy with chatbots. Can definitely create rubrics for every lesson you teach. And the good thing about it is so accurate that these rubrics can actually be channeled to tailor to suit every kind of learner. If you're teaching visual learners for the same topic, you can create a rubric for them. If you're teaching auditory learners or kinesthetic learners, you can create specific rubrics for them, which in the past could be very difficult because of the short lessons or the short duration for each lesson. Even a double period class might not be enough to cater for every child every day. So now it's a bit easy with using your AI assistants. So chatbot prompts for create rubrics. So always add one or more forms of interrogations for your chatbot. Organize your request information, right? You can tell it to organize it as a table. Important. You can tell it organize it as a table or in certain formats that will make it easier for you to digest or to access or to deliver. So this is an example prompt for rubric. Design a rubric to evaluate grade level students. Assessment type the assessment. Is it essay, project, presentation on what subject topic? The rubric should include number criteria, which each with number level of performance, and it should be aligned with relevant standards. Maybe relevant standard means, is it for terminal exams, maybe WAEC, exam and all that, or special exams or foreign exams. So this is another rubric you can use, or even another prompt you can use to generate rubric. create a checklist rubric for assessing grade level students, right? Assessment for a lab report or research paper and all that subject. Checklist should include numbers, items organized into what's different categories. So let's use the first one and see what it looks like. I'll just copy it. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. I'll just copy it. And okay. You just copy it and go to okay. So okay, we just paste it here. So design, we'll remove all those rubric for grade. So maybe grade 5, right? Like I told you, you could make it for special needs students too. Student assignment. Okay. So that is where you type in or paste in the assignments of your students, or the assignment you're giving your students in the past that you're trying to create a rubric for. Okay. So let's say now students on verbs, right? Verbs presentation. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Let's say on presentation. Okay. On the topic or subject of verbs, right? The rubric should include maybe 3 criteria. Typing numbers, 3 criteria. Each reads maybe 3 level of performances to see. Okay. And it should also align with okay. Let's not okay. WIC and WIC standards. WIC or okay. That should be XS3. Let's not use standards, but make sure you include your learning objective. Communication skills, right? Communication skills. Maybe that's what you're focusing on. Okay. I'll just add it and bring this up. Good. So let's see what it gives us. Aha, it's properly arranged. So knowledge. So this rubric will judge or will assess the student on knowledge of communication skills and overall presentation. So you have levels, 3 levels. So then demonstrates basic understanding of web. Student speaks in clear, confident, but may not. So these are ways or different levels of students. And students demonstrate a deep understanding of verbs and also variety of ways. So this is a rubric you can. The rubric is aligned with communication skills because it assesses students' ability to communicate with their knowledge of verbs, engage the audience with their presentation, and effective non-verbal communication. So it's a total package, a total rubric that can assess any students after teaching them about verb. So you can export it as Microsoft Word doc and print it out for your students to understand the rubric and know what their goals are for the learning objective. So quickly, that's for what? that's a chat prompt or prompt for creating rubrics. Good. So we'll look at prompts for differentiation of instruction. So chatbot can be used because that's very important, differentiation of instruction or differentiating different learning needs or catering from different learning needs of your students. That's why you differentiate instructions. Chatbots can be used as an idea engine for students to develop station rotation activities, different activities or tasks or classrooms, and differentiate lesson plans to meet students' learning difficulties. Example prompts provide number strategies for differentiating instructions and students for grade level students with diverse learning needs, include suggestions for modifying content and all that. So their learning styles, abilities, and interests. And you see, these are kind of difficult things most teachers, except you are a veteran teacher, this could be difficult for any newbie teacher to handle without an AI learning or teaching assistant. But now it's in your fingertips. There's no excuse for you to have students who are not learning properly or who are having learning difficulties without the attention or without or with teachers who are stranded because they are not experienced enough to help the students, right? So these are prompts that you can use and get. So design a tiered lesson plan for grade level students. This is another one you can use. There are two prompts. Subject, the lesson should include number, tiers, okay. Each targeting a different level of readiness and should incorporate specific differentiation, right? So this is a prompt to help you as a teacher differentiate instructions for your students. Very important, very important. Can see? Okay. So this is the second one, and there's the first one. Okay. So this makes it possible for you as a teacher to be a to actually put yourself out to help your students and make their learning experience rewarding for you or rewarding for them, right? I think in future, I will not. There will be cases where you have difficult learning, students with very difficult learning, but it's going to ease the 50% of it. It's AI teaching assistant will ease 50% of learning difficulties among students, and also teaching difficulties among teachers if they know how to use it, because it's going to give you hundreds of solutions to that single problem. That's where it comes in hand. Before you might have one or two solutions to a problem, learning difficulty for students, but now can generate hundreds of learning solutions for any difficulty amongst your students, and you can test them to see which works for your student. So like, it might not be one size fits all. That is where it comes in hand. It might not be one size fits all. So as far as you know the specific problem your students are having or the specific learning difficulty your students are having, these two make it easier for you to assess your students without problems. Okay, so we'll look at the chatbot for images. Now we're going to be using Adobe Firefly, right? So the same way you prompt for text or text-based prompt, you can also actually have image-based prompts. So examples, you have Adobe Firefly, Midjourney, or DALL-E platform. You can generate custom-made pictures for your comprehension passages, worksheets, and learning activities for your students. Now there's not going to be issues of copyrighted images you got from the internet and other copyright issues or plagiarism issues that happens without these tools, right? that happens when you are using Google to get images, right? So you are writing a comprehension passage and you want it to be visual, or you are even thinking about creating an exam question and you want a specific image that helps students understand the concept. You can use an text-to-image prompt generators or generators, yes. So depending on teachers' creative interrogating, the chatbot version of images can be reimagined using text-to-image prompts. For example, let's go straight to Adobe Firefly. It's easy. You just sign up with your email and you're good to go. So this is Adobe Firefly, right? And you have text image generative field. You can actually create text effects, generative color. And I hear they're going to be having text to videos very soon. So keep your fingers crossed. So you have text, 3D images, image extension, but we'll be working with this text to image, right, to generate an image from specific text. So this is where you come in and you type in your text here. Okay, let's say you're telling a story or you're talking about a story or you created a story from a comprehension passage using your AI teaching assistant, Google Bard, right? And you want an image for that story. So you can say an elephant with wings of an eagle and with a unicorn on, right? So let's see what that image looks like. Now these are metrics you can use to design your image, or you can use to adjust your image. So you can adjust it to landscape, portrait, square, and all that. So this is the image of an elephant, right, with a unicorn and eagle wings. Wow, this is a mythical creature that has just been created. So you can click here to download it. You can use show similar images by clicking here. I'm going to give you different variations of the same images, and if you like it, you can actually save it with your favorite. So you can view your favorite and see images you've been creating. So these are different options or different variations of an elephant with eagle wings and a unicorn horn. Now you can decide it to be a photo. So once you click it and you want it to be a photo, it's going to design it as a realistic image. You can make it a graphic, or you can say no, just don't want any effect added to it, or any photo effect added to it. So it looks real. And you can make it a digital art. So all these are tools to tweak your image and make it to certain tastes you want. So once you say click, okay, and you click on continue, it's going to download the image and you're good to go. So it goes to your computer. So let's open the file and see what the image look like. Quickly. Wow, looks realistic, right? Elephant with eagle horn and unicorn horn. So that's a mythical creature you can add to your comprehension passages. You can make it fun for your students to enjoy reading your passages or taking your English assessment or any other subject, not just English, any other subject. So that's for text to images. Quickly. So like human teaching assistants, right? Main teachers need to always confirm and monitor the responses and recommendation of their chatbot AI teaching assistant. It's important, like I told you, there's the issue of hallucination where it gives you something. So if you're in a hurry without going through the responses, it might become a negative thing. Imagine, because you're in a hurry to generate content or a lesson, and you don't go through it, or an assessment, and you don't go through it and you give it to students, and other teachers detected that this thing is not appropriate for this student, or it's off context, it makes you look very unprofessional as a teacher, and can actually even get you sacked or booked or queried, right? So we don't want to put yourself in that situation as a teacher. So make sure you always read through, take time to read through every information generated by your AI assistant. Like your human teacher, if your human teacher, assistant teacher is not professional or doesn't know what they're doing, and you just take information from them and give to your students or submit, it makes you also unprofessional, even as the main teacher. So that you should take note of. So always make necessary adjustments to reflect your professional input and insight. So you don't just generate assessment and give to your student. Always make sure you look through it and make sure you read through it. And the good thing about you will not have English language problems, maybe spelling, grammatic error and all that. So the half of the work has been done. It's just for you to become focused on making sure that it is appropriate and it is well tailored for your needs and for the needs of your students. So thank you so much. You can contact me on my email, ashiduju@gmail.com. You can also check me on About Me at /ashiduju.com. You can call for further trainings. And if you want to have this training in your school, you can reach out to me and make it a date. How we can work with your teachers to implement these tools with your teaching and learning processes. So thank you for watching the presentation. Have a wonderful day.